I'm Ihab a first-year medical student, and today I decided to talk about space. For a lot of you who don't know, I'm a big lover of astronomy and medicine at the same time, so I decided to blend in both of the topics together and come up with this amazing video. A lot of companies, scientists, and people are so excited and motivated to go and colonize Mars. But before we do so, we need to understand the adverse effects that space and maybe Mars could hold against our bodies. If you're so excited, come on, let's start. I'll share this very nice story with you. Now, Scott Kelly is a former astronaut at NASA. He was sent to space for almost 1 year, and his twin brother stayed on Earth. When Scott Kelly came back from space, they tested his genes and discovered a 7% difference. So now Scott Kelly has space genes. So they did further experiments on Scott Kelly and many different astronauts and found out that telomeres actually elongate in space. And when they do elongate, they increase the lifespan of the cellular life. So does this mean that you actually can live longer in space? Well, technically yes, but wait to hear more about what's coming. The good things that can happen to you as you go in space is that you can easily get taller. You don't grow much, but what happens is that you can easily get stretched. Now, that's the good things. One good thing I'm going to say. If you have more good things, please comment down below. Now, I'm going to talk about the bad things because this is the things that we should prevent and we should be aware of. So one of the big problems astronauts face is muscle atrophy. Now, a lot of you might say we also face it on Earth, but on space it's more common and it's not as easily prevented as it is on Earth. Muscle atrophy, as a lot of you might know, is marked by a loss of muscle mass. And this occurs on Earth because of less exercise. But on space, astronauts do exercise. So why do they still get muscle atrophy? So to make this clear, imagine you're having a big castle and you need $5,000 a month to keep it alive with water, electricity, and internet. However, you become poor at one time of your life and you lose that money. So you're more likely to shift to a new house that does not cost you as much. Cells do the same thing. A cell thinks in a logical way. Why would it be so big if I'm not going to use everything that I have? So why don't I become small? And this is what happens to the cells. Because in space, the body does not need much energy. And the heart does not need to pump as much blood as it needs to do on Earth. Why? Because of less gravitational resistance there. Same thing for the bones, same thing for the skeletal muscles. As a result, you lose the original shape of your muscles, the heart becomes spherical and less powerful, and you basically weaken overall. So the problem does not stop here. Astronauts also face osteoporosis, and that is the weakening of the bones. They lose 1% of their bones every month, as stated by NASA. And the problem doesn't end there because the calcium of the bones is released to the bloodstream and it needs to be excreted. But what happens in space is that all the fluid accumulates within the upper part of the body because of lack of gravity, and that increases the pressure within the brain, within the eyes, and causes vision problems and convolutions, and it also creates a condition of a moon phase. Now that's not the big problem, but the big problem is that the water in the body is secreted quickly and therefore astronauts get dehydrated, and the calcium that was secreted by bones gets accumulated among the nephrons and forms calcium oxalate stones. And when those stones form, they increase the pressure in the kidney, which can lead to kidney failure later on. One more issue that is really important for us to understand is that astronauts also face hematopoietic system disturbance, and this means that the rapidly replicating cells, which are the cells of the bone marrow and the hair cells, they get degraded by the cosmic radiations. The cells don't actually get degraded, but those cells require a lot of DNA and RNA to keep dividing. And when cosmic radiation, penetrates the tissues, it changes the sequence of the DNA and RNA, causing so many mutations, which can lead to cancer, which can lead to deficiency in white blood cells, which can, cause less immunity. They also cause anemia if they affect red blood cells, and they do sometimes. And they also cause hair loss if it's prolonged. you do decompose in space for several reasons. Now, the first reason is that the water in space quits your body so quickly, and it boils even. Why? Because in space there's lack of atmospheric pressure, and this causes water to boil almost instantly after exposure. On Earth, it doesn't boil because there's atmospheric pressure. Bacteria also acts on decomposing your body. Now, it depends on the situation. Let's say you are in a spacesuit, and as long as this spacesuit is protecting you from cosmic radiations and providing you with oxygen, the bacteria is going to act up on you and eat you up until you decompose. But let's say you're not in a spacesuit and you get released into space. Now, before I talk about decomposition, if you're released into space accidentally, you can come back and still be alive. You have 15 seconds, that's the window of life there, because oxygen stays circulating inside your body for almost 15 seconds even if you stop breathing. However, the thing that you should not do is that you shouldn't keep the oxygen inside your lungs, and you should not trap it. Why? Because in space there's no atmospheric pressure, and the only pressure is within your lungs. So if the pressure accumulates within your lungs and you do not let it out, it will go out on its own, bursting your lungs open from area with extremely high pressure to area with extremely low pressure. However, if you die in space and you don't have the chance to come back, what happens to you is based on the source. So if you're near a star, you might mummify and burn. And if you are very far, you might freeze. But in all conditions, bacteria dies because of extreme, whether hot or cold, temperatures. And it also dies because of cosmic radiations and because of the water loss, and it can't survive there. So basically, in all the ways, you cannot decompose if you are not in a spacesuit. Are you still thinking to live anywhere else beyond Earth? If you still are, please comment down below, because I'd love to hear from you, and keep it going safely and healthy and happily. See you next time.